Okay, so step two. Step two is where the salespeople create plans linked to the customer's business plans, and the buyers develop their own strategy and plans. Now, later in the process, or in this in this filming thing that we're doing, you're going to have the opportunity to look at the account plan and the opportunity plan in detail and understand how that works. But as a very basic summary, what we want to try and do is we want to try and understand what the customer's key priorities are, and then we want to match this list of priorities with a list of products and opportunities that we can see from our side. Yeah, just as a very basic example, the customer wants to expand into Russia, and we have products and services, or we can sell them laptops and server solutions for the people that are going to lead the expansion and then set up the whole office over there. The customer wants to do something, they want a new website, we're able to offer them website services and advertising capability and graphics designers. Yeah? The customer wants to reduce their costs of software development, we're able to offer them an outsourcing solution which will enable them to do this. Okay, so lists of business goals and plans, list of opportunities that reflect those business goals and plans. Yeah, that's the ideal world of step two. But this means that we need to create curiosity in order to do this. We need to take this message in somehow and begin selling it. So in step two, we actually begin selling. You know, the sales process, we're selling all the time. It's just that we're selling in different ways. One very interesting conversation that I have again and again and again is where technical people say, I am not a salesperson, I'm a technician, or I'm a pre-sales person. But the reality of the sales process is that the sales organization very often uses these people for step two, which is creating curiosity and interest. Why do we use these people? Because they know more about the products and services than anybody else. It's logical to use their skills and knowledge and expertise. But they're not salespeople, so what are they doing? They're sending a message, they're doing a presentation, they're telling people about products and services in a way that is designed to engage interest and curiosity. Yeah? Well, if that's not sales, I don't know what is. Actually, I do know what is, because it comes in step three. If you're looking for the answer, what is selling? The answer's in step three. The psychological answer of selling and the behavior of sales is encompassed in step three. But we'll look at that later. Later, we have time. We have many years, the whole of our lives, until we get to step three. We have a lot of work to do in step two. Okay. The buyers are developing their own strategy and plans. Yeah. So if you remember from step one, the buyers, they're evaluating their business environment. Yeah. So they're going through a process of saying, how much money do we have? How much money do we owe? What are our profit targets? What is the gap between what we've got and what we need? And then, what are we going to start doing in order to close this gap? Yeah? So companies and businesses go through a continual process of understanding where they are and understanding what they're going to do to improve over the next 1-2 years. Yeah? At the moment, I'm working with like 7, 8, 9 companies. I do not know one of them that does not have projects and plans in place to increase their business in some way or another. Yeah? All of them are doing something. One of them is in the middle of a CRM implementation, a nightmare job. This has taken them 18 months. It's involving everybody. They're trying to put their ERP into their CRM system and get people using it more effectively. It's an initiative which is focused on making the sales organization quicker, more efficient, and better overall. It's a revenue-focused initiative. I've got another company who is really doing a cost-cutting drive. They've sent a message to everybody in the organization that absolutely they can't spend any money on anything without an approval. And so they've developed a new approval process to go into the organization. This approval process was developed by an external consultant. He charged money for it, yeah? So there's a product and service which is focused on cost reduction. All of the customers that I'm working with have got different plans and projects to do different things. All customers develop ideas and then implement them with the intention of improving their business. Yeah? So we want to try and understand what these things are, because they have needs that come as a result of these strategies and plans. Yeah? And salespeople look for needs. We look for pains and problems and needs that we can help people solve. Okay, so the salespeople, what are they going to do? Well, they continue the logical flow from step one and start diagnosing business needs, problems, and pains. And this diagnosis, the word diagnosis that the doctor does, is quite important. We really want to try and get a feeling for where the problems are and where we might be able to start helping them. We are still looking for opportunity. Now we're very specifically looking for opportunity. The difference between step one and step two is, in step two, we are allowed to go and speak to the customer. Yeah? Getting meetings should be a lot easier in step two. However, I've got one customer and I've been trying to sell them account planning for years. I mean, for 3 years or 4 years, and I'm still in step two on account planning. It's just taking forever. Maybe I'm doing it with the wrong person. Maybe they don't need it. But I'm very confident that eventually they will fall and I'll find the right person in the right time in the right place. Yeah? Getting meetings at this company is not a problem. I have a lot of track record with them, done a few projects with them. Step one is continual. The relationship is continually maintained. So getting meetings is not a problem. But I want to sell them one specific thing, and getting the interest and curiosity going for this specific thing is just not easy. Yeah? So step two sometimes takes quite a long time to actually get it to the place where it moves you forward into a real conversation about a real problem. Okay, deciding whether the customer really has a pressing need to take action. Within the pipeliner methodology and within all sales methodologies that speak about solution selling, selling with value, complex sales, yeah, consultative selling, there is a concept which is called the compelling reason to act. Yeah, and this is highlighted in a very clear way. I think I've probably done this already in the early qualifier. Do you need to go to the toilet? No? No. Well, I'm going to lock the door, and now your need to go to the toilet will begin increasing. In half an hour, you will maybe need to go to the toilet. In 1 hour, you probably will need to go to the toilet. In 2 hours, it's going to start getting uncomfortable. You're going to be walking around like this. In 3 hours, there's going to be a dead Englishman in the corner. The green flower in the corner of the room is going to be dead as well. And there'll be a strange smell in here. Your compelling reason to go to the bathroom will have got so strong that you will have taken action. Now, is that a good way of explaining the compelling reason to act? Maybe not. Whatever. We'll do it again later anyway. Customers do not make significant buying decisions unless they have a significantly compelling and pushing reason to do so. Yeah? You don't buy stuff unless you need to. Maybe you buy a pack of pens because they're cheap, but you still need it in some way or another. But you don't spend 10,000 euros on your company's money and resources unless you have, a good reason to do so. And if that reason is compelling, then it's easier to sell to. So this question, among other questions, come into this tool called the early qualifier. And these questions are very important for every salesperson. The questions that we will find within this tool, Step 2 is probably too early to ask those questions. But we're going to ask them now because we want salespeople to know what those questions are, because that's the place where they should be focusing at all times. Okay? Good. Assess the quality of the opportunity and decide whether to engage and disengage. Okay. At the moment, it's 2011. The world is pretty much in the middle of an economical crisis and a recession. None of my clients at the moment have got more opportunity than they can deal with. Yeah? Most of the customers that I'm working with are pretty happy to work with anything that they can get their hands on, and the amount of good opportunity that is out there is quite low. So there is no need to put many opportunities next to each other and then to say which one of these opportunities is better. Yeah? If you are in that situation, then you need a good way of deciding what is a good opportunity and what is a bad opportunity. You need a way of judging them and assessing them. So the early qualifier is also the tool that we're going to use to do this. Yeah? On top of that, though, it's also going to help us decide whether to engage and invest in an opportunity or whether to disengage and work on something else. Saying no is a good idea in a lot of situations because it means you focus your attention somewhere else. Okay. Creating curiosity and interest with potential sponsors. This is the behavioral role of Step 2. Finding opportunity and then opening up this opportunity to people in the customer's organization and saying, guys, is this important for you? Would you like us to come and speak to you about this in more detail? Yeah? And to do this, we're going to look at a concept called the value chain. And the first part of the value chain, which is a very, very old sales concept called the value statement, which is where we say, we believe that by doing stuff with us, you can earn money for yourselves. You can get, zamani. You know zamani? So the value statement and the first part of the value chain is a very, very clear way of creating curiosity and interest. We say to our customer, by doing these things with us, you will receive value. And this is measurable financial value. With the full realization that in many opportunities it won't be possible to speak about financial value. So we're going to go back to the tool that we used in Step 1, which is the conditions of satisfaction form, and look at intangible value as well. Yeah, because that will be important for our understanding of how we create curiosity with clients. Yeah. On top of this, we'll also be looking at the way that we create curiosity simply based on the product and the capabilities of the product itself. Okay, so introducing the concept of value and searching ways to sell with value. The goal, the customer demonstrates interest in working with the salesperson on a specific project. How do we prove this? You've had a good conversation with the customer and you've agreed to go into this in detail. Okay, so we've got the go-ahead to go into detail and start some serious discussion on a particular project area. We're speaking to some of the right people. They've got a good reason to take action, and you know what that reason is. You know what's pushing them in this direction. You've talked about selling with value. They've agreed that this is something that they'd like to do. They have been made curious by the potential value that they can see from solving the problems that they have and implementing the solutions that you've got. So again, we're not selling yet. We're creating curiosity. Doing Step 2 is the permission, if you like, to move forward into the real sell, which is Step 3 and understanding the pain and the need and the consequences of those pains on the customer's environment. Step 2 is the process of opening the door, of kickstarting the process, of gaining curiosity and interest to move forward. We have another sales tool that we look at in Step 2. The pain and personality map is a tool that we're going to use to address complex, large customer environments. It's about the people. It looks at the politics, it looks at the players, it looks at the jobs and responsibilities, and it basically answers the question, how do we discover who's got the money, who's got the power, who is the decision maker, the key decision maker, and who is the person who we need to influence the most. It also looks at questions like, where is our coverage good? Where do we need to improve it? Where are our relationships good? Where do we need to improve them? Who is important for this particular project? Who is important for all projects? What is the status of our relationship? Okay? It's called the pain and personality map because it looks at the personalities and it looks at specific business goals, problems and challenges that these people have. Okay? So that's the overview and the detail behind the second stage.